Hi, this video is a part of Deep Learning with TensorFlow playlist. In this playlist, I quickly explain the logic and implementation of deep learning algorithms and applications using TensorFlow. Note that I do not code along, rather I make use of Pen for explaining the tricky parts of code so that you people can read the notebooks and re-implement these algorithms from scratch yourself. Code files for each of the video will be given in the description. So I'm expecting my audience to have a good understanding of deep learning in general, and they just need little hints for implementation of these algorithms from scratch using TensorFlow. Now, in this video, I'll talk about multitasking convolutional neural networks, in which we try to learn multiple networks for different tasks using single input. For example, we have a picture and we want to predict whether that picture is of a cloth or shoe. Secondly, we want to predict what is the color of that cloth or shoe. Thirdly, we want to predict for which gender that cloth or shoe is, whether it is for male or female. So these are three different tasks. So we could also add some other tasks and depending on the input file, input image. So this is what we mean by multitasking CNNs. Now let's jump to the whiteboard and notebook to understand this idea and code this in Python. Okay, so let's begin talking about multitasking. In multitasking, we do multiple tasks at a time using a single input image. What we basically do is, as I have already explained, that we have considered an image. We want to predict the shoe versus cloth and the predict color of cloth or shoe. So this is like a simple problem where we have to do this multiple two different tasks. So what we could do is we could create a network. We could design a convolutional neural network where we are having this input layer and we are having two different further sub networks in this single network. This first one is for at the end we are interested in finding out the color, because the color identification is really an easy task than the label identification. Then what we will basically do is we will just find out this color and the depth of that network is lower. However, the depth of the another network where we want to find out the category of output is kind of a larger and bigger and deeper. So this is the network that we will be building in TensorFlow. Now let me show you few things. Okay, I'm expecting that you know about convolutional neural networks in general. Then you should also know that we could also adjust the learning of these different networks using the weighted losses. So if you want to, if there is some task which is difficult than the other tasks, so then what we will do is we will give more weight. We will give more weight to that task, that difficult task. So why? Because the network should focus on learning that task more while looking at the error. So it should adjust for the error for that difficult task more. Okay, this is a general idea of using the losses, but in our case we will be using the same losses, same weights for both of the losses for both of the tasks. Okay, once we have understood that, then there are few details I just want to tell you. That why do we use CNN use for images dataset? I'm expecting that you know. Just again for reminder, because images have a special structure where this single feature, this single pixel is not a single feature. This should not be treated as a single feature, individual feature. Instead, we could say that this individual feature is getting its property as associated with this adjacent other features. This whole region is important while understanding what is inside this single pixel. So pixels are not independent, they have this kind of a structure. So in convolutional neural networks, we make use of these convolution computation. This convolution is actually taking into consideration this whole structure, and we also do this pooling. So convolutions and poolings are important, and I'm expecting that you know all the details. You must not know the mathematics for actually coding this whole thing in TensorFlow. However, you should know certain details of TensorFlow. And what are those details? These are sequential API of TensorFlow, and another one is kind of a functional API of TensorFlow. In TensorFlow, our main task is to this graph definition or architecture definition, this architecture design and architecture definition. So how do we define this architecture? We have to call different layers. And suppose we have this input layer in initial stage, and after that input layer, the output of this input layer is actually coming into this convolutional layer, and then convolutional layer is coming into this pooling layer, and that thing goes on. However, in functional API, we don't work like that. Instead, we are not assuming that the lower beneath this input layer will be taking input from this input layer, and the pooling layer will take input the output of this convolutional layer, because this is our assumption in sequential API. So this is how it works. It goes from top to down, where the input for each down layer is actually the output of each top layer. However, in functional API, we have more control. So if we have to write the same thing in functional API, what we will say is that the output of conv layer is equal to the conv layer applied to the input layer, as I have already explained. Once we have this output, then again output for pooling layer will be equal to the output that we have stored for the previous conv layer. So again, if we have another conv layer, so this is how this whole thing will go on, as this will go down. So if you know, if you have understood this difference of defining the architecture of writing this layers and defining this input in sequential and functional APIs, then let's jump to the notebook where I'll be explaining this functional API. Using this functional API, I'll be explaining this multitasking definition of this network, and then the application of this network. Let's jump to the notebook. So we begin by importing all the necessary libraries. Then once we have all these layers imported, then this is like the tensorflow.keras.layers that we are importing. All of these we could do it in a single line, but we have also done it like separately, just to make sure which type of layers that we will be using. Then what we'll do is we'll prepare our data. We will just load the data from the working directory. Then what we will do is we will load the image, and this is for each of the image. What we will do is we will just pre-process it. We will resize it into this dimension, and we'll convert color from BGR to RGB. And these are the lists that we have already initialized, that we have initialized, and the data list will contain all the data. The category labels will contain the category label for the data and the color labels for each of the image. So we are having two outputs for a single image. This is how the image will, these are the dimensions of the image, 96, 96, 3. So we have 3 number of channels. So this is like colored image. First channel will be of red, then second will be of green, and then blue. Then this first image is of shoe, and the color of that shoe is basically black. Then what we will do is we will convert these labels into we will binarize these labels. This is a simple binarization function, binarization task that we are doing for both of these labels. Once we have binarized it, then we split the data into 80/20, and then we develop the model. This is the important part of developing this fashion net model. What we are really interested in is developing these two different networks. One is this build category branch, where we are interested in actually at the end finding out the category output. The next one is for the color branch, where we are interested in finding out the color of whatever the input image is. Okay, so the structure is, this is a lambda function where we are just converting this RGB image to a grayscale image. Once we have converted this into a grayscale image, then we will simply apply this convolution, activation, batch normalization, max pooling, and dropout. And this thing will be repeated here for 2 times, this convolution activation batch norm, convolution activation batch norm, then max pooling and dropout. Then again we do con activation batch norm, con activation batch norm, max pooling, dropout. This is, then we flatten it, then we create a dense layer of 256 neurons, then we apply a ReLU activation function, then we batch normalize it, then we apply the dropout of 0.5, then we have again dense layer. This is the final layer of number of categories that we are having, and then we apply this final activation function, and whatever we receive the output, we return that. So these are finally prediction for each of the label. Okay, this is a specific type of architecture. We could also use a different architecture. We could use different neurons in each of the convolutional layer. We could use different dropout values. We could make it deep. We could make it short. So all of this is dependent upon us. So I'm expecting that you really know about how to define. This is like a simple definition of functional, simple definition of this architecture using functional API, where we are having this function of con2d, and it is taking input of the previous layer. So this x is the previous input, and this x once stored contains the output of this con2d, and this activation is taking input of the previous layer x. And the function of activation, con2d, batch normalization is actually containing all of the what we call all of the details and hyperparameters and the parameters that you should know basically. Okay, once we have defined this function, which is taking input as input and number of categories, and final activation function is softmax because we are dealing with multiple classes, and this is a channel dimension of -1, so that we are storing this channel information in the last array. If you look at it in the last dimension, the 3 is in the last is the last dimension of the numpy array. So that's why we are saying that the channel information is stored in the last dimension. This is channel dimension is equal to -1. This is what it means. Okay, once we have done that, then let's come to this color branch, where we are again applying the same logic: convolution activation batch norm, max pooling, dropout, convolution activation batch norm, max pooling, dropout, and this thing happens, and finally we have this output for this color branch. once we have defined this second function, then we build this whole multitasking network where we are having input of shape, height and width, and 3 are the number of channels. Then what we do is we are saying that the channel dimension is equal to -1. Then we have this input of input shape that I have already explained. Then after having input, we just develop a subnetwork for predicting the category using this function of fashionnet.build category branch, using this input number of categories, final activation function of softmax in this channel dimension information. Then we build a subnetwork for color branch, having input number of colors, final activation function, and again channel dimension. What we do is then we actually we connect the dots and we create this model having a single input, but the outputs will be, there will be multiple outputs. So there are 2 outputs we are dealing with. Once we have that, then we call this model fashionnet, and finally we return this model. Using all of this information, we call this whole function of build of this class fashionnet, and we define this model. Now we could finally, if we look at this model, which I'll be looking beneath. So after all this is the model which I was explaining. This is how I have like this is what we have developed here in this function. Okay, once developed, this was the main part. Then what we do is we simply define these losses and the weights for both of the losses. Once we have that, then these are the initializing conditions, and we are just talking about Adam optimizer, and then we compile the data set using the optimizer, losses, weights, and metric that we want to look at. So accuracy is what we are interested in. Then for 10 epochs, we fit the model, and then we save the model. Once we save the model, then we write it in this, and we pickle it, and we dump it. Then again, this is just for visualization purpose. We loop over the loss names, and we look at the losses, that how it is doing for both of these tasks, and then we load the model, and then we test any image. And after testing, this is what it will be shown once you run this whole thing. So the main part was basically defining this function, defining this class of fashionnet. So I think so. If you have understood this idea of functional API, then I think so it's really easy. And one more tricky part is of this defining multiple outputs in this list while writing this model. Input is equal to inputs and output is equal to this list containing multiple outputs. I hope so this makes sense now.